ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phyllis Italiano, and I am the hostess for The Democratic View. And today I have with me, as I have had her before when she was a candidate, a very beautiful woman who is one of our elected trustees. And we'd like to hear a little bit about who you are, Debbie Klughers.
Hi, Phyllis. I think you've heard enough about me for the last many months.
Well, I'd like you to just give a quick little rundown for people who don't know you.
Okay. Right now, I am finishing my master's in marine conservation and policy. I'll be graduating in May. And what I'm more proud of is that 3 Klughers girls, myself and 2 of my daughters, will all be graduating in May. One with a doctorate in pharmacy, one with Desiree's going for teaching, and myself. So we're going to have 3 college graduates to celebrate in May. So that's really exciting.
I bet I know the happiest person of all, your husband, who doesn't have to pay those bills anymore.
Well, you know, my girls are pretty good at mastering the art of student loans because, you know, college is very cost prohibitive, especially, you know, med school and all that. So no, they're pretty much taking care of themselves.
And so you ran for trustee this last go-round.
Yes.
So tell us, what was it like to run for office?
It was really, really nice because being a kind of unknown, I stood in front of many post office and grocery stores, and I met so many people. I probably personally met 2,000 people because I kept making these flyers, and I kept having to go home and copy and copy and copy and fold, and you know, so I met a lot of people, and it was nice. Sometimes it was depressing because people were sad. You know, people had a lot of issues that weren't trustee related. You know, so just to hear that a lot of people in town weren't so happy, you know, you get a little depressed. But you know, so that was the bad part. But the nice part was meeting all the people, and then you know, election night was really hard because it was an unknown. You know, Zach Cohen and I were in the same spot. Was maybe you're in, maybe you're not. So that was like really, I was prepared to lose. I wasn't prepared to be like, well, maybe. You know, so that was hard and interesting. And now I'm with a wonderful group of trustees. They're all amazing, and I'm so honored to be sitting next to them and working with them. I mean, they're just a great, great group of people. So and we're having a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I'm learning a lot, and you know, we're doing some really good things, some good, interesting things. I'm in charge of the Lynn Mendelman and I we work on the website, and I've recommended to put up a What's New by committee. So a lot of people, you know, always said, "Oh, what do the trustees do? What do they do?" It was so mysterious. Well, it's really not at all. And what I'd like to do is, instead of the public wondering, I want them to see. So by, say, the Harbor Management Committee. This month we're doing this, or the Hot Creek Committee, or the Aquaculture Committee. We've done so many things, and we're only in February. You know, so we've accomplished a lot, and I want the public to be able. So I'll be bringing that up at the next meeting. That if everyone agrees, that you know, we'd like the public to know all of our projects and accomplishments, and maybe future goals and stuff like that. I think that would be great. So we'll be, you know, checking out our website would be a nice.
So tell us, how do we get to your website? What is its name?
Well, the trustees' website is the East Hampton Trustees.
Okay.
You know, they could just Google that and.
.org.
Would it be .org?
.gov.
.gov. There you go.
Okay.
It's on my favorites, so I don't have to type it in. I just go there because I'm always.
And you know what? I was going to tell you in reference to your campaign, I still have one of your bags that says Debbie Klughers for trustee. And I use it all the time.
Well, I was up at the post office yesterday, and Mayor Rickenbach came walking up, and we had a nice, wonderful little conversation, and he pulls out from under his arm the bag, you know, and I'm like, oh, you know, with his plastic bag ban, you know, I mean, it was just a wonderful, but it was so nice to see that, you know, that's the reusable bag that he chooses to carry. And I was a big proponent of, you know, reducing our use of plastic bags, and I tried.
I know you were.
We'll go there again in the town of East Hampton. I think is more, you know, that it doesn't. People realize it's not so terrible, but yeah.
Are you kidding? I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I mean that's what we used to do before the, you know, the 70s came up. I mean, you know, it was those free bags that everyone became used to, and now we know the problems that they create. But we're moving forward. I mean, you know, a lot of other municipalities are banning them. And, you know, the head of the UNEP said that there shouldn't even be the manufacturer of these bags worldwide. So, I mean, it's not like some, you know, crazy notion to, you know, I'd rather use the petroleum and natural gas for energy and other uses than to make bags that are thrown away. I mean, there's better uses for a dwindling natural resource than
Yeah.
plastic bags that we, you know, toss out.
And we find them on the side of the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the ocean, in the marine
Oh,
debris
yes.
is filled with
Awful.
plastics. I mean, yeah, it's really bad.
Yes, I know. A lot of people don't realize that plastic does not disintegrate. It does not.
They've had,
400 years.
400 years, maybe 1,000, and in the marine realm, it could be forever. They have phytoplankton today have remnants of 50 or 60-year-old plastic in phytoplankton, the smallest little, you know, well, there's smaller bacteria and viruses, but whatever. But in phytoplankton today, they find 50 or 60-year-old plastic, so that stuff, and then it works its way up the food chain, and then there you go. It's right back at us.
We know a lot of the in the food chain. A lot of these fish and mammals that are in the water, they survive on that phytoplankton.
Oh, it's the base of the food chain. I mean, absolutely.
Yes,
it's
it is.
Primary production is, and also makes most of the world's oxygen. Not the rainforest, but the plankton in the ocean. So
that is very true.
It's
You see,
all
you know, Debbie, I always tell everybody you're my mentor. That you teach me about things, and not only do you teach me about things, but you are really a woman who walks the walk and talks the talk. And I know that you are a beekeeper.
I am a beekeeper.
So tell us how you got into that in the first place.
It's kind of funny. Thanks to LTV, I you know, I have a show, Keeping It Green, and I have some friends on the North Fork, the Goodales, and they have a farm for hundreds of years in their family, and they gave us a call because they like to bring in people to help them. You know, it's a lot running a farm, and they were going to be spinning honey and making sauerkraut. So I said, oh, let me bring my stuff, and we'll film it up. So I did a little show. I think it was called Sweet and Sour on the Goodale Farm, and it's about, you know, making sauerkraut and honey. So after that, we became so intrigued, but the biggest thing was that Mr. Goodale said, Pa Goodale, he said that it upped his yield by 50%. Now, as a commercial farmer, to say that having bees made him increase 50%, you know, and the other thing is that, you know, being in tune with what's going on in the natural world, that the bees have been declining since 2006, colony collapse disorder, and that no one knows why. It could be a variety of things, or it could be one thing, but we've got pesticides, we've got stress, we've got viruses. They just confiscated this shipment from China. It was something in a rug, a special little mite or something that could have devastated the whole bee population, but they found it through customs or something. You know, this is just a few weeks ago. So we have all these different things affecting bees, and it could be monocropping where farmers, like, you know, 50,000 acres of corn. Well, bees need a variety of their diet. So they can't, you know, only survive on that. And it's just like, you know, but scientists are really, I believe, honing in on pesticides and new pesticides that are systemic, and they go throughout the whole plant. They go into the nectar, into the pollen, and they're highly toxic to bees. So, and the bees bring the stuff back in the hive. So we're just, it's an all-out assault on bees. And here's the problem, though. The bees pollinate a third of the world's food crops.
I know. That's why I was...
Right. So
you know, if people think that what are they talking about bees for? Well, you know what?
Right.
No bees, no food.
Exactly. No water. Also, I'm a big water girl.
I know that too. Well, water is another issue.
Yeah. But today we'll talk about bees.
We'll do that next time.
Good.
But in the meantime, you have a little film here that you do.
I made it. Yeah,
okay,
my husband and I made it.
So you know what, Lena
wrote it.
I like that name, Bonac bees.
It was going to be, they can hear us. So on the back legs there's a little pouches that the worker bees fill with pollen. And they rub against the flowers, and they fill up those pouches and bring them back to the hive. And that's one of the girls. And she's actually eating some sugar syrup. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that.
Supposedly, I was reading the drones, when they go out, they have a specific place they hang out. Someplace up in the air or on some high tree limb. Now we look for the queen, make sure she's good. I think it's that one right there with the big butt. Yep, that's her. Everybody else is little. She's got the big butt. The queen's got the big butt. Take the cork out.
very cute. He tucks his socks in
Then
and everything, and I'm out there in
the plug.
shorts and flip-flops.
Done.
They don't want to sting me. They give up their life if they sting me, but they're not like very aggressive.
No, they aren't. I'm never really afraid of them when they're around. There's no need to tell them.
All right. Now I'm gonna drop them in.
How many bees is that?
I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was like, what did you say, 8,000 or something?
4 pounds of bees.
Yeah, I think he said. Get right in there. Easy closing. No problem.
Happy?
Huh?
You think they're happy?
They sound very happy. See, and they're all going, this is their little, see, so they know that's their little house.
Mm.
This guy's guarding it already. They know their jobs.
They're coming together.
It's not floating, right?
It's a little bee raft.
Yeah, come here. I don't want you to. Come on. Come on. There you go.
Oh, look, he's the first one on.
All right. Just honey. I don't see any pupa in here, or babies, or larvae, or eggs. I don't see any babies in this one. Yes, I do. See them all, the little rice things in the bottom of all of them right there? Do you see them? The little specks of rice at the bottom of each cell. So those are all little babies. And on this side we got lots of pollen and no babies yet. And look at all that. That's all babies that are already. Anyway, lots of capped brood in there. Lots and lots of nice, throwing that out nice. And lots of babies and brood in there. Pollen and honey. No babies in this one. That's because the queen didn't get here yet. No, but she'll be here soon. They're ready for her. Cells are clean. I don't know what's going on in this corner over there. Whoa, building that baby up. Yeah, it is amazing. specific place they hang out. Someplace up in the air or on some high tree limb.
To a new colony. And the interesting thing about the bees is that when they swarm, when they take half the honey, they take equal to their body weight. So however much that tiny little baby bee, well, they're not baby bees, however much the bee weighs, they take that much in honey and they leave. And I have some...
And where do they go?
We found them up in a tree, and we tried to persuade them by making them think it was raining. We were shooting with the pressure washer over and onto them, and we set up different things around the yard to try to get them so we could capture this, and then we would have had that hive. But hopefully they went to someone else's, maybe to an old tree, not into your fascia of your house or something. Then you'd get an exterminator and whatever. But hopefully they found a new home. But they swarmed because we followed the directions of 2 or 3 books that said to have a queen excluder, which is a whole other story. But what I got these little facts about honey, that in an entire bee's life, which is about 35 days, they make 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. And it takes 560 bees to make 1 pound of honey, and they have to visit 2 million flowers and fly 50,000 miles. Okay?
Oh my goodness
I know.
gracious, I've never appreciated honey before.
And when they fill up their little backpack, because they have a little backpack that they fill up, it takes 150 to 1,500 flowers in that one trip when they come back. So, you know, they're just amazing. And they actually found honey in King Tut's tomb that was still edible. So the bee environment or ecosystem, whatever you want, their hive is one of the most, if not the most, the cleanest environment of any animal, because they throw out their dead, they go out to urinate and defecate, they take everything out of their hive. So inside the hive is just so hygienic and just such a perfect environment.
You know, there was also a lot of talk years ago about the making of the queen bee with the royal jelly.
Yes, they feed, exactly. When they decide to make a queen, they feed just a regular worker bee royal jelly. And that's what makes it into a queen bee.
And the royal jelly is very high in vitamin B.
Ooh, vitamin B, huh?
So,
very interesting.
I guess if you want to be a queen, you got to take a lot of vitamin B.
There you go.
So,
or be a queen, or just act like one.
Yes, well, I know some people like that. So what exactly is this device here?
This is a honey super, and this is the foundation, and this is what the bees make the honey. This is actually capped honey, and I just brought it to show you. And
now, how do you get the honey out of there?
Well, we haven't purchased the equipment yet, but is a capping knife, and it's like a hot knife. You plug it in, or not. You could do another, but you kind of scrape this wax off, and you put it in this. It's in this honey spinner, and you spin it, and it kind of whacks it against the stainless steel walls. Falls down. You fill it up into jars and such. So we have about 30 pounds of honey, but we left the bees with, I'd say, 80% of their honey for the winter because it's our first season, and we didn't want to take any chances, so we left them everything. We just took 3 of these, I think, 3 or 4 of these that we have in the basement, and we're going to go in there in a couple of weeks and see how everyone's doing and how much honey they have left. And we've ordered 2 more hives, so we're going to have 4, And our garden just went amazing this year because of the bees. And I would,
I know, I saw pictures.
Yeah, I sent you pictures, and, we're still eating food from the garden. But, bees need a lot of flowers, and they need no pesticides. So I would encourage people to plant flowers, and I have a little list of...
I do and I don't.
Yeah,
I do plant flowers, and I never use pesticides.
Okay, there you go.
I hate pesticides.
I mean, because pesticides don't discriminate. It doesn't it kills everything. I know. And there are beneficial things that you can do, like ladybugs, praying mantises, different kinds of, just very organic, all-natural things to, get rid of, but we have no poison, no chemicals, anything, and we've got a green lawn, a lot of clover. Bees love clover. Bees love dandelions. So
they must love my house.
Yeah, there you go. They're probably, and when they'll go 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 miles. So we're very close, You know, so when you see those little girls, could be our bees. They could be Bonac bees.
I'm going to ask them
Yeah,
when they come around next time.
Yeah, they're pretty
Do you
sweet.
belong to Debbie?
Well,
So besides this, you also do some composting, and I think that's a wonderful thing for people to do.
yeah.
I mean,
It's a
certainly
lot of work.
your garbage waste,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
instead
we have
of
a little bucket on the counter, and we fill it up often because, you know, I'm a vegetarian except for I eat deer meat, and I eat eggs from the Goodale farm. You know, so we don't we eat a lot of vegetables. You know, so we have a lot of vegetable
I eat a lot
scraps
of
and
vegetables
such.
because I'm Italian.
Yeah, so our compost is great. With the town of East Hampton stopping the leaf pickup, we were able to be okay with it. We have a, you know, good-sized property that we have a whole thing, but it took 2 years. You know, and we just rototilled it the other day, and it's all just soil. The whole front giant area of leaves, and in the back as well.
So is there at any point where you stop taking that vegetable waste? I mean, in the wintertime or anything like that?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I am continuously putting in, I have one of those tumblers, and I put into it.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
I
Yeah.
put that in, I put it in constantly, and
Yeah,
I'm just
always.
wondering, does there come a time where I should stop that so that
Never.
it really completely makes it, so by the time
Well, I don't know about that spinner thing, but like I've read about compost like as an open compost thing, and you want some sticks in there, you want some woody things, you want
Yes, I do.
you know, all different kinds, and
I
even
do.
you know, meat, which I didn't know that, and one of my professors at Stony Brook said meat is fine, and I've always heard it wasn't, but I think it's
What?
not because it attracts different critters.
Vermin.
But I mean,
yes.
vermin would come to anything, you know.
No, I don't ever see any
Oh, they
any
don't
mice
come?
there at the compost. My attic maybe, but not my
I actually had 2 avocado plants grow out of my compost, and I tried so hard to grow an avocado plant in my house, and like only 1 out of maybe 10 tries, and then I see 2 in my compost, so we dug them up, and now I've got 3 avocado trees in my house from pits. You know, but they just were growing randomly in the yard. And I was like, whoa, those are avocado trees, you know, get them babies out of there.
So what do you see for your future, Debbie?
Well, in the very near future, right now I've put an application into the Suffolk County Planning Department to lease underwater land, bottom land, out in a secret spot. I'll just say somewhere between Gardeners Island and Montauk Point. And it's to farm oysters. We would like to start oyster farming, and I always have other motives. Like one of the reasons for the bees is to pollinate the planet. You know, with the bees, I think we've had a decline of 40 to 60% of our the bees that we keep, and then wild bees are almost just there are no wild bees in America to speak of. They've just become extinct or commercially extinct. And so with the oysters, they clean water. They are filter feeders, and they clean the water. And what happens, we all know with the nitrogen, how the nitrogen causes algal blooms. So the oysters will eat that algae and that phytoplankton, all those kind of things. So if there are blooms or excessive nitrogen, which cause these blooms, the shellfish can filter the water. So there's my ulterior motive to clean, you know, to help clean the water. And oysters are pretty good at, there's other species that are more efficient, but there's no commercial value, like those little slipper shells. They're really good filter feeders. But, you know, there's not a commercial value. So hopefully
they're probably not as delicious.
Yeah.
Our oysters are unbelievable.
Yeah. So we're going to do oysters, and we're going to do the oysters in the cages, and we're going to broadcast the clams and dive for them to be, instead of raking and stuff, we want to have fun too while we're at it, and we're going to dive for the clams. And, you know, but this is years. This is years away. The first step, we've completed the application process. We have to do an Army Corps of Engineer application, DEC, public hearings. I mean, this is a big deal. It's a big process. It's interesting, too. You know, it's very interesting the process to go through it. And, you know, maybe if we do it successfully, because we may not. We may not even get picked, because you also get picked out of a hat, depending on the number of applicants. So it's like, but it's just interesting, you know, it's interesting, and it will help, hopefully, you know, clean our waters, which are degrading at a rate faster than we're cleaning them up, according to the EPA.
Oh, I know, it's a big concern.
Yeah.
But there are so many big concerns that we have these days about our environment.
I know.
And
so many people that are for whatever reasons they have, to be like anti, say something so sweet as a litter committee, or anti, you know, making sure that we're doing the right thing for our waters. I mean, I don't understand how people...
Yes, look at the scavenger waste issue and how they've made that into an unbelievable football, you know, of what to do.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. What it is all about is what we'll leave in the future. And if we mess up now, there is no, oops, we made a mistake. Well, there is, but there is no turning back.
That's
you know,
true.
and why not better safe than sorry? I mean, why not just make sure we're really, really, really thinking forward to see what we do, not about today and tomorrow and 5 years from now. I mean, this is long term. If you mess up your water, you only have, this whole planet has a certain amount of water from the day this planet was formed, and that water's been cycling over and over and over, and that's all you get. And there comes a point, I mean, water is going to be the gold.
You are so right on that, and thank you very much for coming again.
Oh, we're done?
Yes, we're done, Debbie. You see, I love how you come on. All I have to do is say yes, yes.